Hi everybody, hi YouTubers. Um, I've had a load of questions today, personally in my email, and I am going to make a 20 tips for DRC, for traveling to DRC and staying there. So I've made a brief list. I could go on for hours, but I'm going to go through this list with you guys just to give you a taster and things to keep in mind and prepare yourself before you travel down and while you're there. So, first thing um, to pay attention to is your passport. You need a malaria certificate, and that malaria certificate needs to be up to date. Please make sure that you've got a current malaria certificate to bring with you when you arrive at Njili Airport. If you don't, you will be held up and you will be charged and stung greatly. So that's the first tip. So you need to have a malaria certificate and it needs to be currently up to date. Second tip, travel light. Travel as light as you possibly can. You don't want to be lugging all kinds of luggage around with you. It's going to cost you, it's going to be heavy, and it's cumbersome. So when you do a trip like that, travel as light as you can. Second tip, to do with the traveling and the luggage, always try and carry a large wet bag, which you would use on a boat. Reason being, if you happen to be in rainy season, you can put your valuable things, laptop, phones, things like that, in that wet bag. It'll never get wet. So bring a wet bag. What will it cost you? $10, £10, €10? Not a lot of money. But get the largest one you can. Stick that in your suitcase. Okay? Second tip, which I'll add to that. It's not the second tip, but I'll add to that. Bring some toilet rolls. Put that in your suitcase. Just in case you happen to be in a place where there are no toilet rolls, unless you want to use leaves. Okay? Next tip. It's going to be 21 now because that was an extra one. Use Airbnb in Kinshasa if you can. It's going to save you a fortune. Staying in any of the hotels in Kinshasa will cost you an absolute fortune for what you get. There are some fantastic hotels there, but you'll be charged $150 a night. How does that sound? Don't think you want that. Airbnb is fantastic now, and you can use that and contact those people that can host and organize your trip like that. It's going to save you a packet. Next thing, when you arrive in the airport, you're going to depart from the airport and you're going to head downtown into Kinshasa. The airport is quite a considerable distance from down in the heart of Kinshasa, and the taxis are waiting like vultures out there, and their runners are waiting like vultures to try and fix you up with a taxi. Be careful on the price. The price is between $35 to $50 to get down to Kinshasa. $50, okay, all right? When you fix a price with someone, fix it and agree it before you even get in that taxi. Otherwise, you know what will happen. They'll say, no, you told me something else. No, I thought it was $100. No. Fix that price, fix it, seal it, then get in. Okay? All right. Right, let's look at some of the other tips I've written down. Right, if you're of the adventurous sort, and you're already downtown, you've got your accommodation, you're sorted out, whether it's a hotel, Airbnb, or a friend, when you want to travel around town, be a bit adventurous. The quick way of getting around town is on a motorbike, believe it or not. If you're not afraid of that, do it. It's fantastic. You get around town really quick. You get from A to B really quick, and it will cost you less than $1 to get from one part of the town to the other. It is so cheap and so quick when there's a traffic jam. If not, take a taxi. And as I said before, always fix your price. Tell them where you're going and how much it's going to cost. How much is that going to cost? You tell them. Speak to people. And you know what travel's like. If you really want to take things in, speak to as many people as you can. Make an effort to learn and pick up bits of the language and speak to them. And they'll give you tips and hints on all sorts of things, such as how much does it actually cost to go from there to there. They'll tell you what they pay, and you pay that price. Right. Eating. Not a problem at all. I love Congolese food. I love it. When I eat it, I feel whole, because if you eat freshly cooked food from a local restaurant or cafe, it's fresh. You can see them cooking it. It's fantastic. It's got no GM products put into it. It's fresh. It's organic. What in the West they call organic is normal in Congo. It's fantastic food. I had a friend years ago down there who was the head of a large corporation. And guess what? He used to bring meat from Congo back to Europe. The meat was fantastic. As long as you find a good cafe where the chef or maitre d' knows how to cook, you're in for a treat there. Fish is fantastic. They're very good on fish too. Okay? When you're in a restaurant or a hotel, don't take ice in your water. You don't know where that ice and where it was made. So just have the drink neat. That's one of the tips I would say. And if you feel a bit health conscious, take tonic water. Tonic water is very common down in Congo, and you can have that quite a lot, which could then top up your malaria injections or whatever you're taking for malaria. When I'm down there, I don't take anything. I take the natural foods that are there in the country. You've got a natural leaf called bulukutu. If you can remember that word, bulukutu, and you say that to someone, they'll think, wow, how do you know that? It's a fantastic dark leaf. It will taste extremely bitter, but it purges the body and it fortifies you against malaria. Why not? I used to take that up country. That's very healthy. Okay, bulukutu is the name for that one. As I said before, taking a taxi, fix your price, otherwise you're going to have a big argument. And you know what it is. The slogan is great expectations. Everybody's got them. You'll have them and the taxi man will have them. So before you get into that, fix the price. Funny other tip here, which I observed about 12 years ago. A friend of mine invited a few of us to his girlfriend's house to meet the family. Don't do it. What it means in the cultural sense is if you enter that threshold, the man in question is deemed as intending to engage, and I mean engagement in that sense, with the said lady. So if you've got a girlfriend down there, or you meet an acquaintance, a lady or so, you've got a girlfriend, you keep it light, because if you intend to marry her, then yes, you visit the family. But if she asks you to go and see her family, I'm afraid everyone will be there waiting to meet you as the intended fiancé. Always remember that. I went with a friend, we all had some drinks, but we realized there was about 40 people there. Okay? All relatives. And there was a reason, because word spread that this gentleman is intending to engage the lady. And my friend got an almighty shock. Great expectations again. So remember that one. That's a really important tip, because they have expectations. And if he breaks the promise, God help him. Right, next one. Right, what was I going to say? About back to the airports. When you're at the airports and you're arriving in the country, you will be bombarded with runners, not just for the taxis, but for your bags. If you've got a lot of stuff and you can't go light, you may need the help, but be prepared to pay. Okay? A few dollars. Okay, that's what you should pay. I mean, make life good for people. People sometimes help clean your shoes when you're downtown. You could be sat downtown in a bar, a young boy will come up and he'll tap you and say, "Do you want your shoes cleaning?" Give him some money. He's going to shine your shoes fantastic. Give him a tip, okay? And that's the norm. All right, help people out. At the airport, though, if you're traveling light, you don't need help. Otherwise, you'll get into the great expectation scenario where they'll say, "Oh, you owe me money. I've carried your bags." So be prepared if you want to spend that money, okay? And if you want to help people out, then by all means, give them a tip of $10. You can do. But I normally give them, if I've got a lot of stuff and equipment with me, I give them a couple of dollars because that's the norm, okay? Another funny tip is if you're staying or living downtown where there are some supermarkets, you're going to realize you're going to be walking down the aisle and you're going to think, where are the prices on all these items? There's coffee there, there's bread there, but there are no prices. There are no prices because everything has been labeled with a letter. So at the front of the store, look at the letter chart, and along the letter chart will give you the price range. It's a weird situation. It's like a fetish in the country. I don't know why that happens. Why not just stick the price on there? But that's how it is. So you'll find that in the big supermarkets. The other tip I want to say with food is, if you're interested in food and the vibrance of the fantastic city of Kinshasa, and you've got a friend down there, go with them to the fantastic Zando market. I would call it the Great Zando. It's like a jungle in there of narrow streets and narrow alleys and pathways. You can hardly move, but everything is happening in there. Music is happening in there. Food is being sold in there. Jewelry is being sold in there. Craft is being sold in there. Timber is, things, butchery is going on in there. Everything. So it's so vibrant. Go to Zando. Don't be afraid, but go with a guide because you'll get lost in there. If you're afraid about your money, put your money in your shoes. Okay, you've got socks on, your shoes, your feet might get sweaty. Put your money in a plastic bag and put that in your shoes and go to Zando. And mind you, wherever you want to go, if you're afraid of carrying money on your person and maybe being pickpocketed, which is rare unless you really stand out, do that. That's what I do. Well, I used to do that. What else can I say? For the adventurous, when traveling around town, guess what I do sometimes when I'm on my own? I get on a motorbike. They call it the moto. You'll see them driving all over the place and you just go, psst, pull them over and they'll swing round and come over to you. Where do you want to go? Tell them where you want to go. Same principle applies. Fix the price. And if you're brave enough, jump on that moto. If you're brave enough. But you'll get from A to B in no time. Okay? I used to get home in like 10 minutes on a moto, weaving through the traffic right up. I was right up out into the district of Kinshasa when I was in Kinshasa. So that's a good tip. And also use the bus sometimes. There's lots of taxi buses. They're normally crammed. But if you want an experience, get in the bus, talk to some people, and experience that. Another funny thing which is changing in Congo now is taking photographs. It's not really the done thing still. And you used to find that in Eastern Europe, where if you took a photograph, the police would come up to you and say, "Stop, no photographs," as if there was something going on, as if you're a spy or something. Unfortunately, that still exists to a greater degree in Congo. So be discreet if you're going to take a photograph. And luckily nowadays with your mobile phone, you can. Another tip to do with a mobile phone, bring a mobile charger, a solar charger, which you can use with your laptop or with your mobile phone. It would come in handy when there's a power cut. And if you're on the outskirts of Kinshasa or up country, sometimes there's no power. Okay? For those like myself who spent lots of time up country working, there are many ways you can travel up there. You can travel upriver on a barge, very, very cheap. But take in mind, it can take you nearly a month. But it's a fantastic journey. Do it if you've got the time and you're backpacking, let's say, or so. You do that. You take that journey. You'll be stopping off at different towns. On the way upriver, there'll be different boats coming out to you to sell your product and stuff. It's a trip in itself in Congo. It's a trip in itself. And when you go up country, you'll have fantastic fresh food that you see caught and cooked right in front of you in a liboke leaf. Beautiful. It should be in a Michelin star restaurant. That kind of food is fantastic. It's fantastic. Some of the best food I've had in my life was in the Great Congo. Fresh food, untouched. Okay? Now that's it. Let me see what else I've written here. Now I've gone through the supermarket. There was a weird one there. Told you about Zando Market. I've told you about the buses. Traveling up country on barges. Told you about keeping your money where you should keep it. And I must reiterate to you, try and be adventurous. Be adventurous and talk to people. If you don't talk to people, you are not going to know anything. You'll be like a disabled person stood out there, unable to do anything. So please, talk to people and you'll gain a great deal of knowledge and understanding. If someone offers you food, that's another tip. And you know, come to their house. You know, we've had a great chat. Come to my home. We're going to cook for you on Sunday. And you go to their home, and there's all array of different foods and things that you can eat. Try each part of it. Just out of good manners. That's good manners when you travel wherever, whether it's Northern Europe, Iceland, South America, wherever. Try that food. And if you don't like something, you don't. But there'll normally be an array of foods there. So the etiquette is to accept that gesture from your guest and try some good food. Changing money is my last topic. Your hard-earned money that you bring down to the DRC, whether it's dollars, euros, or the almost disappearing pound sterling. When you're down there and you've got a set of money, I would do it in tranches, which is what we always used to do. So, okay, for the next few days, we'll probably spend about $200 to $300, let's say, on things that we need to sort out. I would change just that amount and keep the rest in dollars, because the rate can fluctuate in DRC quite a lot. And it could be, and usually is to your advantage, to hang on to the dollars. Okay, so spend what you need. Places to change, normally right downtown, in the heart of downtown. Heart of downtown would be Boulevard, right downtown, and Gare Centrale, right down at the very heart downtown. If you mention that to people, there used to be money changers down there in dozens down one particular street, but as far as I remember, they were being moved the last time I was there, which wasn't that very long ago. So, but they are everywhere and they're on the streets, and normally you get a better rate than you would get in the bank, a much better rate. So walk around with your $100 or $50 and say, how much are you going to change that for? No. And as soon as you walk away, they'll say, come back, we'll get you a better rate. You know what it's like. So do that and you should see yourself well. If you're going to travel up country or going to travel west to, let's say, Matadi, to the coast, there are buses, and the buses are beautiful. They're laid out, air-conditioned, lovely, clean buses that now take you from Kinshasa, Palais de People, from Kinshasa, and there are different locations in Kinshasa where the buses can take you to Matadi, to the coast. And there are other journeys elsewhere. But as I say, ask around. If you stay in a hotel, there are risks in the low priced hotels because your stuff could go missing. This is why I mentioned Airbnb in the beginning. That's why I mentioned Airbnb. Because then you're in your own place with a client that you'll get to know who's either living nearby. So Airbnb is probably going to be your best bet. Okay, guys, if you've got any queries, just get in touch with me on my normal number, which is 0044 area code for Europe. I'll keep that same number, 7788 511 816. And you can always contact me on the email as well, which is Fitzroy, FITZROY, 12561 at gmail.com. Have a safe trip, guys. Take care. Bye now.